All right, today as you are in class, I would like you to make sure between you and your shoulder partner again that there should be a baggie with the algebra tiles. And those are on the front chair by my table if you need those. And again, we're working with the same thing as we did before, where our yellow are going to be our positive 1x's and our the back side is going to be the negative. And in this case, that's our 1x. And I know ours might be different colors, but this is going to be our positive, and this is positive 1, and this is just the negative 1 as we are looking at those. So again, we're going to do a little practice first with the algebra tiles, and I want you to try and model this on your paper, and if you want, you can draw it out also. Remember we talked about drawing our algebra tiles when we draw the 4x, and you're going to see me drag these over, but when I'm doing 4x, I might do the try and draw the rectangle. Um, so draw this rectangle of 4x, and I'm going to have 4 of those. So I have 1, 2, 3 lines. Those are my 4 x's. And then I have 6. So again, when you draw the 6 squares, I don't care if you do 2 and 2, so 2, 4, 6. Then again over here, we're going to draw what does the 2x look like? And 2x is our 2 rectangles. And since it had plus 10, we might want to put the 10 first. So if I was doing 10, I might do a 5 by 2. So these are my 10 ones. So this is what it looks like. And I could drag these over, but I think I'll save that for when we're doing the practice ones. And as we look at those, what I want to do first when I look at this is I want to get all my x's on one side. So my first step is to get all x's on only one side of the equation. And so if we look at that, what I want to do is I actually want to take these two x's. Oh, I don't want to do that. I actually want to remove these two x's. So if I'm thinking of removing those, I'm going to take them away. So I take away the two x's. And I need to, if I do that on one side of my equal sign, remember I have to take away two x's on the other side. So I'm going to remove these top two x's here. What does that leave me with? Well, I'm still left with the 10 ones. How can I draw that? I can draw it very simply like this. So this is my 10 ones, and I am left with no more x's. Here I still have 6 ones, and I also have 3 x's. So I'm now left with 3x plus 6 equals 10. Now, this is exactly like we were doing the other day. I am now going to be getting rid of the 6, so I'm subtracting 6 from both sides. So I'm taking away 6 of these, 6 out of the 10. I'm removing these 6, remove, right? What am I left with? I'm left with my 3 x's. 3 x's is going to be equal to, when we are looking at this, no, not 3 x's. Should have been 2 x's, right? We removed 2. We were only left with 2. My fault. I was thinking I had 5. I did remove 2 and have 2x. So if I'm looking at this, I now have the 2 x's remaining. And over here I have 4. So what I know is that 2x is equal to 4. And as I look at that, each x, if I'm looking at each one individually, each x is equal to 2. So x equals 2 as I am solving that. Now, on the top of the next page of your notes, I want you and your partner to try and put these together using the positive and negatives. And again, you're going to pause the video. And as you look at this as a class, what I would like you to do is under the document camera, kind of like we did the other day in class, have people come back and model it. So if I was looking at this first one, what I might be doing as I look at that is I might be modeling putting 9, right? 9 ones. And again, you don't have to draw these. So if I was doing this, I might do a 3 by 3, 9 ones. What do I need on the other side? I also need 1. So this is me modeling the first one, if we are looking at that. And then I'm going to have you guys under the document camera model the next 2. But you could do this with your tiles right now also. We're going to have 1 on this side. Then if we are looking at it, we had 2 X's on this side, and we had 3 X's. So if you need to pause the video so that everyone can get theirs set up just like this, do so. As we look at that, what do we now want to do? Well, we had 2 X's on this side and 3 on this side. We need to remove 2 X's from each side. So we're going to remove those 2 X's. And as I am removing them, right, as I remove them, I'm now left with X plus 1 equals 9. Now I want to remove 1 from this side, and I'm going to remove 1 from this side. And as I remove those, I am left with my solution, which is X equals, and I have 8. So I should have X equals 8 as I'm looking at that one. Please pause the video, and again, the next 2, kind of make sure that the students have tried these and got the answers. And then when you've checked that they have theirs, you can unpause the video and you will see my solutions. And again, this is just to try and help you understand better what we are doing when we actually solve the problems. This one, it gets a little more difficult sometimes when it's negative, and I'm going to show the negatives up here with a -1, and then as you do that next page again, we'll do a model of 1. So if I was showing -1, when I put that, I'm going to put a negative there, because just like yours have the negatives. And then I have 2 X's. So those are my rectangles. On this side, I'm going to have -4. So my -4 tiles, those are all going to be, in this case, like the red ones, as you are looking at those. And then I have 3 X's. Now, again, when we start the problem, first thing we want to do is get X's only on one side of the equal side. So please write down X's only on one side of our equal. And in this case, the side that we're going to have the X's on is where our bigger X is. So it's going to be on this left side, the 3X. I am going to be taking and removing 2 X's, right? We're going to remove these. What does that leave us with? Well, on this side, we also need to remove 2. That leaves me with an X, and I still have my -4. And on this side, I have -1. Now, this is where it always gets a little complicated, but if I have 4 negatives, and I can't just remove those from both sides because I don't have 4 to remove from this side. So what I'm going to do, and you're going to notice that what I did is I'm going to draw these just a little differently. Instead of having the 4 in a box, I'm going to put 4 in a row going down. And it's not that big of a deal, but the reason I want to do that is that because now I want to get rid of a -4, we have to add +4. So I am going to be putting those 4 pluses here. Now, whatever I do to one side of the equation, so I had -4 plus x, I am adding 4, was equal to -1. And over here, I am putting 4 positives. As I put those 4 positives, I am adding 4. That leaves me with a +3. And it leaves me on this side with just my x. So I have 3 equals x, and I have solved the problem. So we've just found x equals 3. And again, I didn't show it with those tiles. And we are going to do this first one together. Again, these are our positive x's and our +1, our -x and our -1. So if we are looking at modeling this first one, as we model that, we want to put -2. So kind of do this with me with your tiles. -2. We have a positive x. We have a positive 2x's and a -3. And again, if we are showing this, one of the first things we want to do is we want to remove an x from both sides. Why do we want to remove 1? Because we can't remove 2 from both sides. So we are left now with, if we were going to write this, -2 equals x minus 3. This is where we're going to add the positive 3. And I'll show down below how we are doing that, adding positive 3 to one side. We're going to add positive 3 to the other side. Now, the reason I want to match these up is because what happens with a positive and a negative? And a positive and negative becomes 0. And now, if we are looking at this solution, we actually had -2 equaled x minus 3. We added 3, and our solution was x equals 1. Again, pause the video. Please have some students come back, possibly under the document camera, and show their work up here and removing it. Then you'll unpause it and you'll see my solution. And hopefully, as you were working with your shoulder partner, you got the same solution. The homework tonight is just practicing more of this. But when you look at this one, it says decide if the given solution in the first homework questions on B3, it works. What that means is you want to replace, you're kind of doing the check. Does it work? If I put in 4 times 3 minus 9, 6 minus 5 times 3, parenthesis, does that equal 44? And just show me your work doing this. So here you'd have 12 minus 9. This is going to be 6 minus 15, which gives us a -9. So that's what we are looking at as we are looking at these problems, and you're going to check it. Again, the answers are in the back. Again, here, 1 through 4, you're just replacing. When you get to questions 5 to 10, that's when you are adding your like terms and solving. So this is where we combine our like terms. This is where we distribute first. Being really careful for those negatives. Those negatives really mess people up. Making sure, this is going back to the other day, what do we need to multiply by on both sides to get rid of that denominator? Okay, so showing that work, multiplying so that we can get rid of the fraction. And if there is time, you will either take the quiz today and the sub can decide, or you will take it tomorrow. So remember, you're going to finish up 1 through, and on this worksheet, I believe it's 1 through 19. This should be done for tomorrow's class. Tomorrow we have more of the same. And the quiz, the sub will put under the document camera for you to take a look at. Thanks, hope it went well.